What's up? My name is Devin. I also go by Infinite or Proud by Infinite. And today we finna talk about synth lead melodies. More specifically, synth lead melodies for blxst and kalan, just because the synth leads and their beats are very prevalent. So let's get into it. Well, real quick before we do get into the video, I do want to talk about my Patreon real quick. I basically give out 7 loops every single week with the stems, the key, the BPM, and the MIDI. Yes, the MIDI for every single track out. You know what I mean? So if you are interested in signing up for a Patreon, look into mine. It's going to be the first link in the bio. So now that we are in FL Studio, let's talk about some synth leads. So on the left, I have a chord progression and then a synth lead on top. And the synth lead, it's cool. It's alright. You know what I mean? But then on the right hand side, we have a synth lead that I would say is pretty fine. You know what I mean? It's pretty good. You know what I mean? So we're going to play the one on the left. We're going to play the one on the right. And then we're going to start breaking it down. Okay, so for me, in my opinion, the 3 most important rules for a synth lead melody is that 1, you should have some grace notes with it. 2, you should have some overlapping notes with it. And then 3, you should have a good call and response technique to the synth lead melody. Now let's break down all 3 of those. Now you might be sitting here thinking, what is a grace note? A grace note is basically kind of like a note that leads into another one, but they are like right next to each other. I don't know the actual technical term, but that's basically what it is. So in this instance, this right here has a grace note in it. This one right here, the E, is a grace note. Because as you can see, we can do this melody with just the F sharp right here. You know what I mean? But then when we add the E, it makes it like a little bit more interesting. It makes it seem like we're actually playing it on the keys. Because it has that very subtle glide from the E to the F sharp. And that's really what grace notes do. They just add more flavor and they just add more style and just makes everything cooler and makes the melody have more depth to it. And it also gives like a realistic type of feel to it as well. Now, number 2 is to have overlapping notes. So with a lot of synth lead melodies, it's really good to have them gliding from one note to another because it makes everything sound more smooth. You know what I mean? So if I just hit Command L right here and I make all the notes start and stop where the next one ends, it's not going to sound as good. Like, it's still going to sound cool, but when we make them overlap, it's going to make it like a cool 20% better. You know what I mean? So this is what it sounds like without it. You see what I mean? It just sounds way more robotic and choppy. So when you start like overlapping them, everything transitions way smoother in the melody, which ends up helping your melody overall. And then the 3rd rule is to always have a call and response type of melody to your synth leads. And that's basically when you have something play, take a little break, and then you have something else play. That's where like the call and response comes in. Like you call with this one right here, then you wait for the response. You know what I mean? It's like when you talk to somebody. Like a conversation wouldn't sound good when you're sitting there like, hello, how are you doing today? I'm doing fine. I'm doing good too. Okay, thank you very much. You know what I mean? Like there has to be breaks and pauses for everything to sound good and natural. You know what I mean? You want it to be more like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing today? Oh, bro, I'm straight. Like, thank you for checking in on me, man. I appreciate that. Oh, man, you know I gotta look out for my people. You know what I mean? Like, that just sounds way better. And you can take that right there and apply it over to the synth lead melody. You know what I mean? If I just start doing all this and this in between, it's not gonna sound right. You know what I mean? But then you do that call, have a little break, and then have a little response. You know what I mean? And doing things like this is also very important because when the artist gets on the track, they need pockets to make their own melodies as well. We always have to remember that an artist is going to get on these tracks or these loops and everything like that eventually. You know what I mean? So we can't over clutter the melody or the drums or just the beat in general, because it's going to make a worse result for the artist and the overall song. So leaving little pockets right here and like right here and stuff like that helps out a lot when it comes to the artist coming on and making more melodies as well, so everything can work in harmony. Now let's go into the good section and we can talk about how it could be a little bit better. So I'm going to play it one more time just so y'all can remember how it sounds like. You know what I mean? So just really repetitive. It doesn't really go anywhere. Doesn't really hit any other notes and everything like that. And then also it doesn't follow the 3 rules that we had. So it doesn't have any of the grace notes. The notes are not overlapping, and it doesn't really follow a call and response type of feel. So let's try to tweak this real quick and see if we can make it a little bit better using those 3 rules. So what we can do is we can take this E right here and we can turn it into a little grace note, and then we can have those notes overlap as well. So we can do something like this, and then maybe add like another grace note right here. And then overlap these notes right here as well. And then we can shorten this right here so we can kind of get more of that call and response type of feel. Also, shortening this right here helps with that call and response feel as well. Like, don't be afraid to put a little bit of silence in your beat. And then maybe we can put like something like right here, something like that. And then overlap the notes again. And then we can just get rid of these. Copy it over. And then glide that over as well, just so it transitions better. Now let's listen to it again after we implemented those 3 rules, and we can kind of determine if it was better or worse with the 3 rules implemented. Now, obviously, I would do a little bit more to spice it up and make it a little bit more different, because you don't just want to have like a 2-bar pattern just repeat over and over and over again. But I mean, just for the sake of the tutorial and just for the sake of saving time, you know what I mean, y'all can trust me. Just make it a little bit different on the second half. And you know what? With those 3 rules implemented, I think it drastically changed how the synth lead melody sounded. You know what I mean? So just at the end of the day, when you're making your synth lead melodies, remember, 1, you should have some grace notes to spice everything up. 2, you should have some overlapping notes just so everything transitions smoothly. And then 3, use a call and response melody so you can make something catchy and still leave room for the artist. And with that being said, my name is Devin. I also go by Infinite or Pop by Infinite. Peace out.